Those are some big numbers, guys. Thank you. La da la da da ba 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 ba. 2.5 minutes. What's going on with my PC? Weird. All right, about 90 seconds, I believe. I'm going to leave Kitty Cat on. Remember, let it move. Wait for the pullback. Standard high volatility event-driven strategy that I've taught for 12.5 years. Same as every other month, guys. Don't do anything unique. Norway, new car sales are down. Right, so don't freak out. Don't freak out, guys. Don't freak out. Volatility is picking up. Dollar weakness. That's a really good sign. Okay. 304. That's a big number. Don't be surprised if there's 100% retracement, but be careful. Because this is a big number. We're looking for wages, but that points to a more nervous Fed, which would actually strengthen the dollar. So be careful. This is a situation where it could do this. Just be careful. That means this is using our technical analysis. This is supposed to be our sell zone, but don't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn, okay? Because again, this doesn't tell you a Fed's not going to raise interest rates. It tells you a Fed is more likely to raise interest rates. And we've just taken that off the table, so now there might be back on the table. So that would be dollar strength, as I've already discussed. So be very careful. Don't get sucked into this just because it had red candles. Okay? And it looks like the dollar strength is coming. We'll see. This is your Alamo. If you're a bear, this is your Alamo. Look at this. This is so terrible. It's amazing how low yields are. Wow. And they're like, Treasury yields rise to 6.4. 6.4 is horrifically bad. It's like unbelievable. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the actual report so I can get some better stats on it. So this is the actual employment situation report. Let's see, I'm still loading. So that's actually it. Hello? Is anybody here? I don't think it's streaming anymore. You guys lost me. It says that I'm streaming. Maybe the chat didn't work? Well, moderator, if you can hear me, something's not working well, so email me. So I have no chat, but it says that it's streaming. All right, so Alamo is holding. Mass confusion. See, not everybody understands that a good NFP means a higher dollar. But what we really want is wages, like we said earlier. $426,000 discouraged workers. Leisure hospitality rose, construction rose, healthcare rose, transportation rose, retail rose, mining rose, professional business services rose, manufacturing rose, federal government was shut down, so unchanged. Yeah, up across the board, huh? So anyways, I don't know if there's a glitch in the matrix, but I'm streaming, but the chat stopped working. Just a slight revision down from last month. So they said they got it pretty good. Look at that. 147, 148, 148, 148, 148, 149, 149, 149, 149, 149, 150, 150. Pretty good. Wonder if there's a way I can refresh the chat. I don't think so. Reload. I'll click reload. Oh, good. I hit reload and you're around. All right, good. That's good. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Not much movement. Well, can you guys see the charts? And I don't know if you've been able to see me or not, but I've been going through the employment situation report, the actual report. Okay, good. So I couldn't, the chat wasn't moving. So anyways, we're here. Cool. Good thing I kept going then. Good thing I didn't curse. So we're just kind of following. This is the standard operating procedure for a NFP trade, but there's a lot of rhyme and reason for a stronger dollar. So that just takes us down to our next sort of trade plan, down to support and then probably back, right? Short-lived move here. Should we? No, you've already missed it. Norfolk, it's a scalp, not a committee meeting. So you missed it like a million years ago. So let me put it back. So you must have lost the video then. But I drew this for you on the first candle. I drew this within the first 20 seconds. And then it came back into your sell zone. So somewhere in here you should have shorted. It could be like the 5A cross or something like that. But typically it's a roll reversal. That's how I come up with this stuff. But if you don't know how to do that, then yeah, you shouldn't be trading this at all. Yeah, okay, now good luck ignored everything. All right, well, if you ignore everything, then you're on your own. All right, now this wasn't actually an estimation of where it's supposed to go. It's supposed to go to the next level of support, guys. So as you know, the next level of support's pretty far down there. It could be as far as here today, guys. Yeah, well, good luck. I don't know why you would do that. So you bought a downtrend after news. So yeah. There you go, Reb. Good job. Okay. I saw it for. You thought it was bad. Well, so let's go back. What I was telling you was this is the trade plan before the news. It's the same one I've been teaching at FX Street for 12 and a half years. We do this every non-farm payrolls, guys, every one of them. It's exactly what we did last month. Okay, so you have to be consistent when a market's not consistent. Okay, great. So the next thing is I was warning you that this news can be a positive for the dollar. So to be careful. And what that means is you sell here and you keep your stop close because the next plan, because if the market turns bullish, there's only one way to trade a bullish reversal, right? Higher high, higher low. So if you were buying stuff down here, you don't know how to trade. I don't know any other way of saying it. So how about this? I invite you to open a demo account at tradersway.com. Costs you nothing. Takes you 30 seconds. And then on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday of next week, you can attend my webinars in which we will try to fix you. That is also free. So visit tradersway.com, open a demo account, and icing on the cake, guys, I will give you my chart templates, my profiles, my templates, and my scalping EA all for free. Just visit tradersway.com. Open at least a demo account, and then give me the opportunity to earn your loyalty and respect, okay? Well, idiots, there is no wear off. It's a fundamental play, okay? So there's only the levels of support and resistance. So the next level of key support is actually quite a ways down, as I've already identified. It's way down here. So, you know, we're at a psych level now. So don't be shocked that we come down, we hit the psych level, we retrace here, and then we work our way down to here. So that would take, I'm not an Elliott wave guy, but let's do it on a smaller time frame. Let me get off of an hour. Let's try to do this on maybe a 5-minute chart. I'm trying to get my drawing tool to turn off. There we go. All right, so how are we going to make this work? Okay. I'll give it one more click. All right, I think at some point soon, it's going to come back, hit this area, and then make a new lower low. And it'll probably do this 2 or 3 times. And it'll drop from, so we're near 131. So then it's going to come back up here, 131.20, which you would sell. Then it's going to go back to 131 and break it to 130.80. Then it's going to rise back up to 131. Then it's going to drop down to 130.50. And then it's going to rise back up to 130.80. Then it's going to drop back to 130.50 down towards 130.000, in which we would be done for the week and would set up a long for next week. Okay. Kim, that's right. These templates seem overwhelming. Okay. So let me ask you, Kim. So the euro dollar is at the red zone, okay? This is all euro dollar. We're at a red zone. Does the red zone to you mean up or does it mean down to you? What does red mean to you? Does it mean up or down? Well, you can have a million as long as you understand what they mean. Then you only have one answer. And by the way, and if you think like there's moving averages and stuff going on here, I will change this template and I will drop it down so there's not even moving averages anymore. That's all you need. But does it mean, does red mean up or down? Down. So what this means, Kim, is that you should be a bull looking to take profit somewhere in there. It's not overwhelming. This was a buy, this was a take profit, this came back down, this is a buy, this is a take profit again. Some might argue it may go higher, but that's irrelevant. Right on, David. Ishmael says, I think euro dollar will go to 149. I don't think. I only do what the analysis tells me. I can't prove that at the moment, so I'm not saying you're wrong, but I would never say something like, I think it'll do this and I think it'll do that. Okay? There is no such thing. Nobody cares about your opinion. People only want to know your analysis. So you'd have to change it around and say, based on my analysis, and to be that far out, you'd have to do like yearly pivot points. So you'll say, based on my analysis of yearly pivot points, I think there's a high probability that euro dollar is on its way to 149. But when you say, I think euro dollar will go to 149, it's not worth anything. So I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not trying to belittle you. You need to change the way that you say it so that it has value. Why is the dollar weak even though the NFP is so strong? Well, by the way, everything can change in the next hour as people digest the report. Maybe people don't interpret the report the same way as I do. That is another one. I haven't had an opportunity to go through the report. Now, I pulled the report up and I was trying to find it. But what we need to look at is hourly wages, hourly earnings. That's the site, not the report. Hang on. That's the chat. Where'd the report go? I can't. Where did my PDF? I must have closed it. All right, hang on. I got to pull the report up again. Here we go. Okay, so here's the report. One of the things I wanted to look at was hourly earnings. And maybe there was no increase in hourly earnings, which would then, because we talked about it before the news, that's the thing the Fed cares about, not the headline number. So if we go through all of this, and by the way, every sector except government added jobs in the month, but I wanted average hourly earnings. Okay, rose by 3 cents. All right. Over the year, hourly average is increased by 85 cents to 3.2. You know, you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if it was one of these things where the dollar's weak now, and then people go, oh, wait, and then dollar strengthens. So remember, if you think that way, this is the area I just told you, euro dollar is likely to stop rising. So if you look at it and say, oh, NFP, if you look at average hourly earnings and a headline number, you think there's more likely that euro dollar will come down. So you're looking for your areas to sell. That's how you do it, guys. That's how you trade. You have a trade plan. So you say, okay, well, in that case, you're going to treat this as a role reversal, and you're going to look for signs of weakness. And your general trade plan for today and all of next week is this. That would be your plan A. And this is what I was telling you 1 minute after the news came out, that don't be shocked if this happens. Now, your plan B is here. So let me mark this. Plan B is to look for a reversal here. And by the way, it's Friday, right? It's Friday afternoon. This price here, 114,990, not 115, 114,990. We had that as a projected high for this week on Sunday. On Sunday, we said if euro dollar goes up, this is projected to be our high for the week. We knew this on Sunday. Did you? Do you think other people happen to know, or do you think that's a random walk? That's just a coincidence? And then the next thing you have to ask yourself, if lots of people knew this was a top, are they paying attention to this line too? If bulls took profit here, if bulls sold here, is a better way of saying it, would a bear sell here? Now an amateur just keeps chasing price because it was up after NFP, and then they have no trade plan. What's your trade plan, son? Are you a bull or a bear? Oh, NFP, but NFP tells you dollar has a very good chance or likelihood of strengthening based on the fundamental analysis of the economic data. Okay? And that's what I was freaking out about on the USD CAD. That the dollar was weak, but it had every right to strengthen. So we'll see. Here's your second wave, guys. Okay, you take the old support and it may become resistance. This is called price action. So let me get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. Okay, and you just kind of reverse all of this. Okay, this used to be support and it may become resistance. Okay, if you're using price action. Big surprising number. Well, so I went through the NFP. Again, I don't know if you saw all of this, but look at the numbers over the course of a year. These are the revised. 147, 148, 148, 148, 148, 149, 149, 149, 149, 149, 150, 154. Okay, very nice, very steady. Okay, and then here monthly, 176, 324. But let's do the revise. About the same, about the same. Decent revision, about the same, decent revision, about the same, 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 and decent revision. See, 312 to 222. So the difference here is 90. Okay. So we'll have to see how big the revisions are and stuff. But yeah, that, interesting, right? And let me just tell you this, because NFP was on the 1st today, okay, how many days have they had to put together this number? Yes, Thaco, and that's what I was saying before NFP came out. I spent some time talking about that, where nobody really cares about the headline number anymore. We know we're at full employment. What more does the Fed need to know? Right? You're either pregnant or a little bit pregnant. No, like I suppose it matters, like if someone says, oh, well, did you know you're 8 months pregnant versus 8 weeks pregnant? I suppose that matters, but in this case, you're at full employment or you're not at full employment. You're pregnant or you're not pregnant. But I suppose it matters 8 months versus 8 weeks. So there's no relativity here per se. We're at full employment. Enough said. The next thing the Fed needs to do regarding its mandate is inflation, and inflation is going to come from wage growth. So in this case, yes. Okay. So anyways, we're looking at the differential here in December, but for February, check this out, they've had exactly this morning to look at January's numbers and put together a headline number. What's the likelihood they're wrong? What they did is they threw in some guesses into a computer and it spit out a number using statistics, aka fuzzy logic, aka voodoo magic. They're going to come back after spending the entire month of February And at the next NFP, give you the real number. And then, of course, on top of this, is the Bureau of Labor Statistics a government agency? Was it shut down for January? So how good is the number? The number's probably worthless anyways. So to add all that together, is the 3.2% year over year increase in wages important? More important than the headline number? Yes. Yes, it is. But once again, I've already said that. So to re-emphasize it, yes. Some interesting numbers. So yeah, so I studied this a lot in macroeconomics at Harvard, and you can break it down, and we broke it down using something called the COLA model, which is really interesting and has to do with not just unemployed, but the matching between jobs available and employees available. And we're at a weird shift. So if you understand economics, for example, there's a difference between a change in price or a change in demand and a change in quantity demanded, right? Change in quantity demanded, for example, is you're moving up and down the curve. A change in demand is a move of the demand curve to the right or to the left, from D1 to D2, right? And in this case, looking at 50 years of NFP data over the jolts, right? NFP over jolts, over 50 years, we found for the first time in that 50-year period that if you look at, like, let's say, I have to sort of invert one of these things, but not invert, mirror, reverse, but if you look at we'll call this the supply of workers. I know that's not a supply curve, but I've flipped it. The supply of workers and the demand for workers are usually look like this. And the matching has to do with an equilibrium, but like how many jobs in the business cycle are available and how many workers are available and all that kind of stuff. But for the first time in 50 years, the COLA model looks like here's the supply of workers and here's the demand for workers, right? And it's a scatter plot. It's not really a slope here. It's not really a curve. It's a scatter plot. But anyways, imagine this like, here are all the workers and what they can do, and here are all the jobs and what they need, right? And it's all scatter plotted, and they look like two separate curves. So it means not only do we have, since the financial crisis, an increase in demand for workers and an increase in supply of workers, and now the supply has gone away, but that doesn't change the demand. And what happens is what the COLA model shows is there are jobs available, the workers are just simply not qualified. So if you lose your job, let's say at a coal mine in Kentucky, it doesn't mean you're going to do artificial intelligence at Apple Computer. But Apple Computer is hiring people that know artificial intelligence. So a friend of mine, she's an engineer, and she went back to school and got a graduate certificate in artificial intelligence. And on the first day, she was hired by Apple. No real world experience, simply the education. So imagine all you have to do is go to a good school like Stanford University, take 6 courses on artificial intelligence, get a certificate, you're hired. That's it. You need a job, do it. And luckily for her, she joined, and the stock dropped by $100 a share. Oh, what? Can you imagine if you got hired? The day the stock market dropped by $100 per share, and then you get stock options? Unfortunately for her, she got hired, she got stock options, and then the stock dropped by $100 a share. Wah, wah, wah. But anyways, So yeah, so we looked at 50 years of NFP data and jobs available JOLTS data, right? And then put them together in a COLA model and found out that there's a break for the first time in 50 years into workers available and workers needed. They don't match. But one of the ways I tried to explain this to my professor is that, well, you probably have a whole bunch of people, baby boomers that are going to retire in the next 10 years, and they're not updating their skills. They're getting ready to retire. And millennials, well, they're spoiled little brats that need a spanking. But, maybe these two things will come together. And he shot that down right away because he's smarter than me. I mean, he works at the Fed anyways, and he says, no. That's not what it is. Right, Michael. Well, yeah, so absolutely. Michael says if you go back to the NFPs that are on the first, not even just the first day, but like even the first few days. Because think about the headline number. Even if NFP was on the 7th of whatever month, they've had less than a week to poll every person in the United States. Well, of course, they don't poll every person in the United States, but they have to poll tens of thousands of people and then get a sample size to then do the math. But under any level of duress, I mean, all it means is they have a smaller sample size. And with a smaller sample size, it's hard to reflect the true population. I'm in a quantitative methods class right now, and I'm supposed to be using bigger boy words than I am, but I don't have them in my vocabulary. I know I'm supposed to be using them, but I'm like, how does that relate? Is it a population or is it a sample? And I don't know. I'm sorry. I just started the class. So. Is that right? AMFX? Yeah. Well, and you know what skill means is whole different, right? But anyways, I audited a class at MIT because I had this Harvard stats class that just started. So I audited an MIT class to kind of get warmed up for my Harvard class. And on the very first day, the professor says to all the students, the students are like 19. And he says, all right, everyone raise your hand if you've already completed a computer learning class. And he looks around, he's like, okay, about a third of you. So 1/3 of 19-year-old kids at MIT have already taken a computer learning class, meaning they know how to use mathematics to teach a computer how to think, or at least replicate the thinking process. So imagine now you're 45 trying to get a decent job, and a 25-year-old comes up. That 25-year-old is 10 times smarter than you ever were, especially if they went to Harvard and MIT. If they went to Florida State, don't worry about it. You got it. Yeah, I don't know. YouTube's having problems, man. It seems like it's like lagging like a lot, actually. So let me refresh again. And let's see if we can increase this. All right, we'll see if this helps. And yes, I did reboot my computer before I even started the webinar, so it ain't me. All right, so after our wonderful distraction, did you take the trade? Nick, yeah. Oh, you're a COBOL expert. Man, I was hiring COBOL guys back in 1999. We were finding, most of these guys were pretty old. I think they were like Korean War veterans and stuff. But I'd call these guys up at the old folks home, no joke, because all the regular cobalt guys were already hired, right? We needed them for year 2000 work, the Y2K stuff, right? And they were all taken. So people are paying me. They're like, Wayne, you find some cobalt people, and I will rain down money on you, son. I'm like, I love money. So I started calling old folks' homes. Sure enough, you find some guy. I'm like, hey man, you want to do some work? He's like, son, I haven't worked for 20 years. What do you need? Cobalt. He's like, oh, I don't really want to do that. I want to go golfing. I will pay you $500 an hour. And he's like, snap. Do I need to murder anyone? No, I'm in. And we were hiring these guys for like $500 an hour. And it was like easy programming, but only like certain people knew it, right? Yeah, Y2K stuff. So anyways, I got paid for that. These guys are like, that's more money than I made in a year back when we were actually using cobalt. How funny, huh? Hey, Grandpa, you want to make $500 an hour? I'm going to install this webcam. No. Okay. So because this is a scalp, your stop's already here. And typically when you're scalping high volatility, event-driven stuff, you're going to move your stop fairly quickly, and you don't mind getting knocked out at break even. Okay. So I don't know if you took the 5-8 cross or if you're in earlier, if you just took the roll reversal. Okay. But, most likely you should be in about here, let's say, or here would be your entry. So you could even, I don't know. It's up to you how quickly you move your stop. But typically, if you're scalping and you're not profitable in the first 5 minutes, you're probably in trouble, because that's the slowest scalp ever, right? Is there still really cobalt stuff? Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. Cobalt guys don't like it. It's like mainframe stuff. Then there's like microcomputer stuff, and there's all this weird stuff that there's still some legacy demand, but nobody wants to do it. But for money, lots of people will do. Max is a Fortran guy. Get out of here. What? Fortran. You're so funny. We have a scalping course and a day trading group that does a lot of scalping, Robbins. So feel free, guys, if you need training, fxbootcamp.com is a great place to start. And does anybody want my chart templates? Like, let's just go to a standard template here. This one. This is the one I use pretty much all day, every day. Does anybody want this one? It has weekly and monthly pivots in it. See, I'll go out to a 4-hour. Okay. Here's the monthly target for February, and there's the weekly targets for next week. So this is next week's high, projected high if it turns bullish. Next week's low if it stays bearish. Right? I wouldn't be shocked if it does this next week. But anyways, and then this is the projected high for February if it goes bullish. But if it stays bearish, this is the projected low. Okay? It doesn't tell you to be a bull or a bear. It just tells you the targets. Entries and exits is what it's telling you. So, I can't post a link. Moderator, if you're still here, can you post fxbootcamp.com/charts? See, I can't post URLs. Oh, yeah, it blocked me instantly. Well, if you go to fxbootcamp.com/charts, you can download them for free. Compliments of the firm. Try to pay it back, though, by going to Trader's Way and opening an account, okay? Would you do that for me, please? TradersWay.com, open account. You don't have to put money in or anything. Just give us an opportunity. Download our MT4, install the chart templates that I just gave you for free, and let us earn your business, okay? We'll earn it over time. Okay. If you truly are a conservative bear, I'll tell you what you really want to see here, right? Okay, what you really want to see is this. So what I would almost want to see this, like between now and Monday, I want to be up here. And then I'm going to drop it like it's hot at 132. How about like that? So right now it's still a guess. But that's why I use technical analysis. So now you get out of the 4-hour, which is strategy. Remember my book, Strategic and Tactical Forex Trading? This is strategy. Then you drop out of the 4-hour into, let's say, like a 15-minute. And you set up the tactical entry. Okay? And that's pure technical analysis. So the strategy would be, let me mark it. Let's play it this way. Okay. Now I go into my 15-minute chart, and we're way up here. You see that? That's the, so at some point, NFP needs to stop. And then we kind of need to work our way up here between now and Tuesday. Preferably Monday, but we'll call it Tuesday. And then on Tuesday, I'm probably going to fire for effect down. And you'll say, well, Wayne, by then we'll be making a higher high. Yeah, on a 15-minute chart, but not on a 4-hour. On a 4-hour, it'd look like this. Up, let's say Friday, up Monday, down Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay? Yeah, Jimbo, nor do I. What do you mean an empty folder? It's definitely not an empty folder, Oswald. Absolutely, definitely not. Okay. So that's what I would like to see, and that would be my, my strategy, right? Oh, yeah, you would have to unzip it first. Yes, you would have to unzip the folder for sure. I can't email you an unzipped folder. Well, Michael, in that case, they would be wrong. It doesn't mean you don't have an entry. So what were we on, USD CAD? Yeah, you're right. So a weekly swing would say bulls would buy it here. Oh, yeah. But what I'm saying is a bear, if they sold here, would get it right. In that case, there'd be more bears than bulls, and the bulls simply break even. Just because it's here doesn't mean it has to go up. See, pivot points don't tell you up or down. They tell you support and resistance. S and R for the market. So, therefore, if you know you're a bull, you're going to buy here, but what did I just tell you before non-farm payrolls? Before you really want to buy, you need basically this, because you don't want to be a bull in a down market, correct? So what you really need is a double bottom higher high, and you should be long there, right? Until that happens, the odds are still in favor of a bear doing this. Okay? There's nothing bullish about that now, except you're at a bullish price. But you don't trade price, right? Thank you, Jimmy. Okay, let's let's take a look around the world. Here's my standard template that I've been using for 15 years, maybe longer, 20 years. But what am I missing? I can identify things like support and resistance of price, but I can't do market. No, Alan, all I did was update my templates, but like for the templates to work, or right? For example, pivot scan is this one, or no, that's the scan. This is the one. It looks like the charts in my book. I've been using that for 15 years, right? Then you have FX Bootcamp Standard, which is this one, which is the same thing with oscillators, so that you can time your entries, right? And then the other one, pivots, is this one, which are your weekly and your monthly. That's all you need. These other things are just tweaks that I've done for myself, but they're, right, like isolating monthly, for example. So I just have monthly without weekly. And then like, what if I want weekly without monthly? Well, so these are just, here's weekly without monthly. Okay. So the way that you would do that is you would open up the one I gave you. For example, you would go to indicators list, get rid of one of the pivots. Now it's monthly, so then you'd go templates, save as, and save it as a different template file. And now you'd have this saved, and you'd be monthly only. And then you can flip it around and do weekly. And they're just derivatives or iterations, depending if you do calculus or not. Right? But the indicators, the custom indicators that make it possible are included so that you can make any derivative or iteration from the, let's say, the master template that you want. Okay? Okay. So yes, so Oswald says shifts in support and resistance and stuff. So the answer was, initially we had it looking like this. And this is oil, WTI. And I said, okay, we could trade this. We have things like price action. We can do like support and resistance using price. But what we're lacking is support and resistance of the market. Okay, so this is price, and you can do price action, S&R. But it doesn't give you the full scope of information that you would like to have. For example, it doesn't say the top of February and the bottom of February and stuff. So that's why beyond just price action, which is a leading indicator, but it only tells you sort of support and resistance price. I mean, that's all it is. So now I need to calculate support and resistance of the market. So looking at this and looking at this and looking at this is just price. Price bottomed, it topped out, it bottomed, roll reversal, topped out, bottom, roll reversal. Okay, it's just price action. Okay, in fact, I would do it this way. Off of this. Okay, so that's price action. And it says, well, if you buy it here, it should make a higher high, and then it should retrace back to here and make a higher low. But I like to add pivot points. So I would go insert, indicators, custom, and then add some pivots, for example, and go boom. And I have some additional information. Then I take that indicator and I go to indicators and I open it up and I want to change all this data in a way that I find liking. So I make those changes and then I save the template and now I can go here. Okay, and this is how I like it. And this is what you can have for free. I love this setup. So, for example, on WTI, this is the projected bottom for January. This is the projected top for January. And the calculations were made on this day. What do you think of that, guys? When we were here, actually, because see how they're predictive? Actually, we were over here talking about this as being a target and that a target. This is a projected low. This is the projected high. And we were actually talking about it in the 3rd week of January. Isn't that helpful? Three weeks in advance, already having certain prices in which a bull would buy and a bear would sell. Would you like to know that 3 weeks in advance? Well, that's what this tells me. No, they're generated automatically. So here's Monday's buy zone. If you want to buy oil, this is where you would buy, somewhere in there. So you might want to buy it now if you're a bull and front run next week's pivots. So I lead a swing trading group that meets Fridays, and that's what we do. We front run next week's trades today. So I meet on Fridays and get in trades that should last from Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday until Thursday, and probably take profit around Thursday. We're setting up trades on Friday for the next week. And in many, many, many cases, you look at this and say, I want to be long next week, and I want to be long on Friday, and be long and strong next week. So you're in on Friday based on Monday's pivot points, which most people don't even have yet. You get that for free. So look, see these prices? I'm looking at next week's prices today. So the target, if you bought it today because you're a bull, remember, pivots don't make you a bull. But if you're a bull, they tell you entries and exits in advance. So if you bought it today because you're a bull and you want to front run next week's pivot points, you're buying it today and you're taking it up to $57.05. So you see, like somebody earlier said they think euro dollar is going to 149. I'm like, look, nobody gives a damn about your opinion, right? They only care about your analysis. So I say, if you're a bull on WTI, technical analysis tells me you should buy between 153.73 and 152.88, and the target is 157.05 to 157.78. So I don't have an opinion. You see that? It's only technical analysis. The example I love to use is like, if I'm a concert pianist, I don't interpret Beethoven or Mozart or Chopin. I don't interpret it. I don't say if they're right or wrong. I don't add my little spin. I don't say they're good or bad. I simply put the sheet music down and I play it. And it sounds perfectly like Beethoven or Mozart or Chopin. All the data is there in front. The little dots and squiggly lines and little bars and all that, it means like that's it. Like I play it and it comes out Beethoven. So when I use technical analysis, it's not my opinion. I don't feel like WTI is going to go up. What do you feel? What the heck does that mean? Technical analysis tells me $53.73 to 57.05 done. $3. You're going to make $3. And actually, you know what? I said this yesterday. We were buying it. There was a $4 move. So we bought it at 153 yesterday, didn't we? We bought one of these things. Does anyone remember? We had this. I remember writing it down. $4,000 If you trade one standard contract, you buy it at 53 and we're taking it to 57. So anyways, that was 1 or 2 days ago. So we're not talking about something that's about to happen in the next 2 minutes or something that happened yesterday. We're always setting things up like what's going to happen later today or tomorrow, or what's going to happen next week and how can we set it up today. Michael says, yes, if you front run Friday, yes, you run gap risk. But we haven't had significant gaps in a long time. But yeah, you do take on gap risk. Sure. But once again, that's why you trade with a stop loss. Okay. So once again, fxbootcamp.com/charts give you this template. And it gives you 2 other templates. But those are all the mother templates that I use for all of this stuff. It's just different derivatives. Okay. And then you say, well, Wayne, I hear this a lot. Wayne, you use way too much going on and blah, 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 blah. What I need to live is this. I don't think anyone can trade if you remove something from here. But all I have here, let me zoom in, candlesticks. And I don't even need candlesticks, really. They could be these other stupid things, but I don't think anyone uses them anymore. All right, so it's a candlestick. You know what? I probably don't even need that. Let's do that. All right. And I guess I need to make this fatter to have it stand out. Will it let me? I'm having trouble. No. All right, whatever. Let's go back. Okay. Candlesticks, because from that I can do price action. Okay? And I need support and resistance in the market. But I like daily, weekly, monthly. This is weekly, monthly. Okay? So I'll give you an example. And there is a training course for this as well, guys. This is a buy. This is the target. Okay? This is an out of position, so typically use a 4-hour EMA for that, but whatever. This is a buy, and then this is actually the target. It was here, though. It took a long time to get there. We consolidated, okay? But on this day, if you bought here, you were going for let's say 155, okay? If you bought this here, you were going for this 148, okay? This predicts this price. This predicts that price. It doesn't give you time, but it gave you the price. It doesn't say how long. Is it going to take a minute, an hour, a day, a week? It doesn't tell you that. Okay? And so if you want to do it again, if you're a bull here and then you were a bull here and you're like, well, Wayne, I'm still a bull now. I like the price action. I mean, all it did was consolidate for a while, but then this is a breakout, so you want to be a bull again. Wayne, what's the next bullish trade? Oh, that's easy. This price and up to the next level of 157. Boy, it's nice to have the right tools. But you see, I have no oscillators, I have no moving averages. All it says is if you're still a bull, this is the price, this is the target right in here. You'll probably make it to 158, actually, 157.83. Okay? Now, what if I'm wrong? I'm going to be wrong right at the price we're at now. Okay? So, let's go through the scenario where I'm wrong. What happens is we'll probably head up here. We'll hit this area today, which puts us out of position, and lots and lots and lots of bulls take profit here. And this could drop us back down, and we do the opposite. And you're like, Wayne, well, now you're doing the opposite. No. If you're a bear, this is not going to make you be a bear. But as a bear, you would say, well, if bulls rally it up on Friday and we get up here, they're going to be elevated in price and they're going to want to take profit. So the first profit take, or the first move down, is what? Bulls selling. The next wave down would be bears selling, and then the target would be here by let's say the end of next week. But what if it's a true change in market conditions? This is also the monthly M3, and if this holds, if this ends up being, if this 154.50 area ends up being the highest point we reach in February, it could be. Right after non-farm payrolls, there's a spike and then a decline. So if we see that bearishness starts creeping in on a daily and a weekly basis, the target is actually way back here. Do you believe we're going to drop all the way back down to 44? And by the way, we were ready for this 44 at least a week in advance. For a long, of course. But does anyone believe where oil's coming all the way back, WTI, does anyone believe WTI is coming all the way back to $44 a barrel? Do you have a bias, is what I'm asking you. If yes, you need to watch for a red candle here on profit taking and a red candle here on short selling. And if so, you got two targets, target A, target B. This is the projected low for next week. This is the projected low for February. Okay? If you don't believe that's the case, you believe the global macroeconomic conditions are favorable for an increase in demand, or you believe that refineries are going to buy up crude oil in anticipation of creating gasoline product for the June driving season in the United States, and therefore supplies will be diminished. In either of those cases, you're buying dips and your target is up here. Not 57, 62. Well, actually 60. The first one's 60, and that's going to be a big psych. Okay? So there's only two choices, really. $60 or $44. Which one are we going? So imagine that, guys. Imagine that. This is a great question. Do some analysis. What does OPEC say? What does the EIA say? Where's the A? Anyways, what does the EIA say? Oops, question mark. These are question marks. What do they say? Do you think the global economy, let's just put econ, is the economy improving? Is it going up? If so, oil will go up. Is the global economy going to weaken this month? If so, oil will weaken. So kind of like do some basic research, review the recent history out of OPEC's and EIA data and with their outlook and all that kind of stuff, and then look at global economic data like the maybe GDP out of certain areas and try to discern whether you think over the next 30 days oil will go down or up. And that would make you an analyst. And it would mean your trade plans are actually based on analysis of macroeconomics. And if so, you would actually be on your way to becoming a significantly good trader. Now imagine it this way. Let's say there's 300 people watching this webinar right now. 290 of them are not going to make a damn change, pardon my French, to their trading. They're just here, they're watching, ha ha ha, chat, 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 trade, 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 have fun. But they're not going to make any change in their trading, and they're not going to become a significantly better trader ever. So now, are you one of the 10 people that are actually going to try to make a change and get significantly better? Because remember, most people just can't do it or they're not willing to do it. And I think most people are just not willing. They want the yellow Lamborghini, but they don't know how to work hard. I know a lot of billionaires, and they're some of the hardest workers you've ever met. Right? So if you think you're going to get lazy rich, son, that you're dreaming. So you're going to have to make a choice. You might come from a land where there's no jobs and no education. And in that land of no jobs and education, you might come from a part of society that even if you had a job and education, you're not going to get your fair share. Boo-hoo. But you have Forex, and you can compete against a hedge fund manager out of Malaysia. You don't even live in your pathetic little country anymore. You're a global player. Nobody cares who your daddy is, what side of town you live on, what kind of car you drive, what sex you are, how many kids you have, what religion you practice. Nobody cares. You either buy or you sell. You either made money or you lost money. So you have this opportunity to change your entire world and the world of all the people around you, including your loved ones. And all you have to do is work your butt off learning how to trade Forex like a professional, not like a child. And I don't mean that insulting. I mean to take it and run with it. Master your universe. But let's face it, most people aren't going to do anything. And that's just humanity. I can't change humanity. But you could be the one of the maybe 10 people in this webinar that says, you know what, he's right. I'm taking this seriously. I have an opportunity in front of me. No, put it this way. I was a venture capitalist. And before that, I helped many, many, many startups raise millions of dollars. I've read thousands. Oh, yeah, we had this up. I brought this up yesterday. I have it right here. And before I helped other people raise money, I ran a startup of my own. And then I helped other people run their startups and get successful. Now, where did it go? I found this just the other day. It's pretty cool. This is Inc. magazine. This used to be a really big magazine in the Silicon Valley. I was featured in the Inc. magazine, the hot startup issues, 1999, baby. Yeah, right before the crash. Woo! I was big. So here's all the magazine and newspaper articles written about me back then. I just have it in my keeper drawer. So I've literally reviewed thousands of business plans. And there is nothing better than Forex. That's why when I was at a peak of my career, in a beautiful office in a skyscraper with a view of the San Francisco Bay, I was loving life, living in charge, doing the job I hoped to do. I hoped to be a venture capitalist one day. And there I was. And I quit. Do you know why? Because I'm smart enough to know there's nothing better than Forex. So you can just trust my judgment, take my personal opinion. After looking at thousands of business plans and raising millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I've had successful startups that are still industry leaders today. I've hired probably 1,000 people in my lifetime. This is it, man. This is it. A small business out of your home with no accounts receivable, no accounts payable, no workers' comp. Gee whiz. Do you remember when you had a job and you're like, I want to take 2 days off, but I have to fill out a form, please. In July, I'd like to take 2 days off from work. Would you please give me the time off, please? Every Friday, you got to have birthday cakes in the break room, and every day at 4 o'clock, Kathy burns a bag of popcorn in the microwave and stinks up the whole office. You remember all that? I calculated, and I'm going to have to do it again. I was smoking a cigar at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My wife's hanging out with me outside. That's right. I don't have a yellow Lamborghini, but I can sit outside with my wife at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and have a conversation. I'm not at work. Isn't that great? And we're talking about our neighbors. Both of them are professionals. One's an engineer and one's in marketing. They both make more than $100,000 a year. So they're average, right? But they each drive for an hour and a half a day. And 45 minutes to work, 45 minutes back. Because of that, they have to have a nanny because they have 3 kids and school and all that kind of stuff, right? So we calculated it. So think of it. An hour and a half each per day. That's 3 hours a day. 15 hours a week. Right? Times 4. That's 60 hours a week. But then they got to do like soccer tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So it's about 300 hours a month they're driving. 300 hours as a family per month. Times 12. That's almost 4,000 hours they spend in a car. And what? To pay for the nanny? Oh my God. And these are good American jobs. They live in a nice house in a safe neighborhood. The kids go to the best schools. Oh my God. Is that what you want? They get home at 7 o'clock at night. Oh, and I'm sitting outside with my wife having a cigar going, man, that must suck. There is nothing better than Forex. See, I had the largest bank in Atlanta, the whole southeast region in the United States, call me up. They're like, hey, would you be interested in running our foreign exchange department at our bank? And that's a job that probably pays $500,000 a year, plus benefits and all that kind of stuff, and paid vacation, and paid retirement, and paid health care, and cushy job at the top of a skyscraper. And I'm like, no, thank you. That's how awesome Forex is. Thing is, are you willing to work hard for it? And that's where almost everybody falls short. Almost everybody. Almost everybody falls short. So like I said, if there's 300 people watching, maybe 10 out of 300, maybe we'll try. Right? And then once you get it, oh my gosh, if you give me a chance, I'll change the way you trade. And it's not technical analysis, guys. Even if you're scalping or spot trading or whatever, most of the time, most people that I run into, even when they're capable technically, like they know technical analysis and they know a little bit of fundamentals. What happens though is they don't even know how to trade like they think they do, and they think they're doing things right, but they're not. Yes, they're entering trades profitably and all that kind of stuff, but they may not be trading. They might have a wrong strategy, I guess is what I'm saying. So it does, right? So it takes knowledge. You need to know technical analysis in its application. Basically, it comes down to support and resistance and price action. And you need to be able to do this in multiple time frames. But all of that is almost worthless, not totally, because you could just trade purely technical like that. But then you don't see things like seasonality or changes in central bank policy, which directly impacts values. So you don't see things coming. You only see things that have happened if all you use is technical analysis, right? So to have a full understanding of macroeconomics and central banking policy is a hugely important part of your trading. So you need fundamentals, the technicals, the price action and support and resistance, all these things, massively important. And then to have it on a longer term context, because you will not get filthy stinking rich unless you learn how to let your winners run. If you can't do that, you will have a job, which means you will sit down every day for, let's say, 3-4 hours a day, and you'll trade your 15-minute chart, and you'll either make 30 pips or you'll lose 30 pips, or you make 50 pips or you'll lose 25. And then you walk away from your chart and you stop making or losing money because you're not doing anything. When you learn how to trade like, let's say, an institutional player. So like I've analyzed the portfolios for nonprofit organizations because one of my goals in life is to manage endowments. So I've analyzed the portfolio for the Lincoln Center of Performing Arts in New York City and for the Met. In fact, I'm writing a paper on risk management. I designed a new risk management portfolio, not portfolio, process, if you will, or model, a risk management model for endowments to use because they're making investments for long periods of time. So I have a new model, and I'm writing that with the former endowment manager for the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, the largest museum endowment in the world, right? And he's now an adjunct professor at Harvard, and he thought my model was brilliant. So we're going to take my model and we're going to test it and write an academically peer-reviewed paper and stuff. But the point is, institutional investors, they're not trading for the next 15 minutes or the next couple of hours. If you make 30 pips and then walk away, you have 30 pips, but it's like going to work at a job and you get paid for your time. So you might be a factory worker putting labels on cans and they're like, we will pay you $10 an hour. But what's the difference if you're a lawyer? You make $300 an hour. You're still poor. Why? You get paid for your time. So you take vacation off, you don't get paid anymore. You have no billable hours. You're, by definition, poor. Right? So how do you get to that next level? How does an institution that needs, let's say, $800 million a year, how does it make $800 million a year to run itself? It takes its money, its endowment, and the money works day and night, 24 hours a day, working to keep the museum open. And you can take the same mindset, if you will, and have your money work for you 24 hours a day. So you don't just punch in, sit down for 2 hours, make 30 to 50 pips, and then be done. Because then you have to do it again tomorrow. And then you have to do it again the next day. And then you have to do it again the next. And all of a sudden it's a job. You'll never get away from your charts. You'll never go on vacation. You can't even, you're a slave to your machine. And so then what will you do? You're like, oh, well, I guess I'll program an EA to do my job for me. That's the day you start to fail. Not that you can't have EAs and all that. Don't get me wrong. Listen to my message. You need to do the work. You need to love doing the work. You need to be consumed with doing the work. You should have a passion for doing the work. Reading central banking reports. I told you, go to the EIA and the OPEC websites, download the reports. They'll tell you what's going on in the oil market. We know less than 10 people out of 300 are actually going to do it. I've already given you advice. Read what OPEC says about the oil industry. Read about the EIA, what they say about the oil industry, and have some sort of input about what the oil industry is doing. Okay? But we know most won't do it. But if you love doing stuff like that, then you truly are a trader, and you're not just like trying to get your stupid yellow Lamborghini, right? You're just lost. If you love it, right, then you end up wanting to do the work. Why would you want an EA to do your job? What, you don't like your job? Then quit. You're going to fail. Making an EA do I got an EA. It's going to make me rich. Are you mentally deranged? Like, think about it. Oh, you got a little EA that's going to make you rich. Now you can just go on vacation. You can have vacations all day, every day. You have no responsibility and money's just going to fall. Like, it's so ridiculous. Is this what people think? Like, oh my, wow, really? What planet are you from? So if you decide, if you want to be a serious foreign exchange trader, fall in love with it. Don't find ways to not do the work. Find ways to enjoy the work. So again, I like cigars. I like coffee. I like sunny mornings. So very often I'm outside in the morning. Maybe it's Saturday morning. The birds are chirping and the sun is warm. And I'm out there with a beautiful Blue Mountain French pressed coffee. Oh, so good. And a beautiful cigar, right? A nice Davidoff, nice light cigar goes well with my coffee. And I'm out reading central banking reports, and I love it. And I almost do it like a reward. to enjoy the moment. Like, I'm reading all this stuff and I'm doing my job, and what a wonderful life. And the minute you say, I wonder if I can get an EA to do that for me, you've quit. Go try Bitcoin. Yeah, what's an EA? Yeah, well said, Jonathan. My gosh, right? So anyways, fxbootcamp.com if you need to know how to do it. Other than that, I don't know. I can't. There is no other way. So, bulls, bears, easy. If you know your bias, you can set it up. That's a dad message. Yeah. Anyways. How long did it take me to become consistently profitable? Well, I traded on a demo account for 2 years. And that might seem insane. I don't think it's that insane, but you have to remember there was no books. There was no courses. There were a few kind of gurus, most of which were scumbags. There were a few on FX Street that I found. But within a very short amount of time, I was one of the experts on FX Street. And then a conference came along, and it was called the Forex Trading Expo. So I was one of the keynote speakers at the very first Forex Trading Expo. And I went there to find out what the other experts were doing. And I kind of came back thinking, these guys don't know what they're doing. So I realized kind of on that day that I had always felt like I was on my own. But then I realized I am on my own. And that most people just are rehacking something they did somewhere else. They used to be a stock trader or a commodity trader, and now they're just bringing it to Forex, but they certainly didn't know more than me. And then another interesting part, right? Another interesting part in my life was when I went to the S&P 500 trading pit. I was on the floor of the S&P 500 just for a day, an observer, not a trader. And then I went to the 10-year T-note pit and a few other places. And I was so giddy and excited. Because up to then, I felt like I'm just a retail Forex trader. I'm not a professional. I mean, I was a money manager, but I wasn't like, I don't know. I held these other guys to some sort of elite standard, like they were superhuman people. They're floor traders. And then there's hedge fund managers and all these different things. I used to really think that they were better than me. And then coming back from that, being on the trading floor at the Chicago Board of Trade, I was so giddy, I'll never forget it. I felt like I could compete with these guys any day of the week and probably win. That they were not any better. In fact, I was probably significantly better in many cases. Not all cases, of course. And I don't mean it in an arrogant way. I just meant I went from feeling inferior to suddenly completely capable. That made me feel really, really good. Augustine says, man, I've watched your live stream every NFP since last October, and I have to say you are a very good coach and inspiration. I want to hear more from you. Well, you know, Augustine, I do a daily webinar live stream every single day. So just visit tradersway.com, open an account, and you're on the Cool Kids Club. Is that right, Michael? Yeah. Yeah, and the Chicago Board of Trade thing was not an easy thing to do. They don't just let you on the floor. Yeah, I don't use volume in Forex, so I've never had a reliable one when I started, and so I just don't really need it anymore. So it seems to me it's more important maybe on a larger time frame or in other markets. So the answer is, I don't think so, Aerovisual. You don't really need it. nor I certainly don't use it, is another way of saying it. Okay, so let's go around the world here. Let's get out of the trader psychology stuff, and let's move into technical analysis. Here, okay, well, if you take my swing trading course, or if you're in my swing trading group, okay, you will find that this is a long entry and this is the target. That was last week's trade plan. So this sets up two different things. It sets up a decline here if you're a bear, but it's kind of tricky to be a bear here. That's why you want to be a bear here. Or if you're still a bull, okay, then you have to mark your support lines. So you drag that across, and you'll end up seeing, well, look, it's about that same as bounce. And then your secondary entry is here, okay? So if you're a bull, your plan A is to buy it here, and bears also agree it should bounce there. And here's your plan B, okay? You're saying, well, Wayne, you're telling me both. Well, I don't know if you're a bull or a bear. And I don't know where this is going to be in a week. I don't. Believe it or not, I don't know the future. But I can tell you a bear would sell a double top all day long. And a bull wants to buy and continue the trend. Typically, you buy at the 4-hour 21 when you open out a position, and that's a swing trading terminology. If you don't know what that means, take the swing trading course, right? Plan B is not nearly as good, but it may happen, okay? So this whole buying area becomes a buy zone. So you might just buy it here and drop a stop here. Or buy a little one, and if that fails, buy another little one. And then if it then takes off, buy a third little one. It's all technique at that point. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So I prefer a positive macroeconomics. Okay. So I want this to go up. But do you think we should just ignore this level here? Do you think somebody might treat that as a top? If so, this is coming down. Now, what is the reason? Look at the dollar. A 3.2% increase in wages over the last 12 months. Plus red hot NFP leads the members of the FOMC to lean toward a June hike. What is it, June 21st? And in that case, dollar strengthens. True, Jim. Jimbo says if you use the EA to trade your plan, no problem. But let's face it. How many people are truly successful in Forex? What is it, 5%? 95% of people don't even have the slightest of a trade plan. And of the people that do have trade plans, now we're down to 5%. Half of those are not very good trade plans. Michael, sort of, but I don't even care anymore. EA has more patience, but I want you to have patience. I want you to have patience. It's a crutch. Okay, get rid of it. Oil, we did. Anybody trade gold? Yeah, you're right, Jimbo. Check that out, huh? Crazy. If you are a bear on gold, if you're a bear on gold, then this is what you're looking at, a retracement all the way back down to the bottom of the range, if you're a bear. Cool. What time is it? 10 o'clock? Oh my gosh! We're running out of time, guys. We only have 30 minutes left. Make sure you ask your question, guys. Which pivot points carry more weight? It starts with weekly, a monthly. Then it goes to weekly, then it goes in daily. So do it this way. And notice how I'm trying to teach you, or at least the way I teach you. The first thing I ask you is, where do you think we're going? So go back to oil. Let's go back to oil, because I already asked the question. But this is how I ask myself. Okay, simple question. You have two choices. Is oil going up to 60 or down to 40? Which one? And if you say 50, then you're just neutral. You're not sure what's going on. So is it 60 or 40? Answer it now. I will wait. By the way, let me be perfectly clear. If you want to know how to trade properly, fxbootcamp.com. If you want a professional coach to analyze your specific trading and trade planning for a week and give you feedback on where you're brilliant and where you suck, fxbootcamp.com, trader performance analysis. Someone will analyze how good you are. Let me tell you, you have no clue. It's like watching a video of yourself. You don't know how you look, and you don't know how you sound, and you don't know how you trade. So if you're serious, I'd go through a performance analysis, a trader performance analysis. Okay, anyways. 60s and 40s, good. You have an opinion. Your opinion is called a bias. Now, I'm assuming you can put a PowerPoint presentation together and then, give me evidence of why that is your bias, but that's up to you. Okay. If you said it's heading down to 40, then you need to look for areas. Okay. This is one price you're interested in selling. You're interested in selling at 55. Okay. Great. Is the trend predominantly up right now or down? I guess we got to go back this way. Okay. Over the last 2 months, is it predominantly up or predominantly down? I'm hoping you say up. So therefore, before you can sell, if you're a bear and you believe we're heading back down here, then you need a reversal pattern. I know I missed letters here. You need a reversal pattern. Double top, lower high, head and shoulders. 1, 2, 3. I don't really care. So how about this? There's a dramatic drop for some reason. A high, back into this old area. And it rolls over, creating a, it's not quite a lower low, but sort of a lower low, lower high. You get short here because you're already a bear. We're talking about Tuesday. You might sell if you got a pattern like that, and you end up selling closer to 54 than 55, but it's not your problem. That's just the setup. And you take a shot here. Okay? But you cannot sell in an uptrend if you're a bear until you know you're not the only bear in the trade. If you're a bull, you can be more aggressive because you know the market's already bullish. So being a bull in a bullish market is actually ideal, right? Cool. So you can treat this like a breakout, pull back. Okay. 1 is the support. 2 is the breakout. 3 is the roll reversal, and you're long now. And then on top of that, you're a swing trader for next week, and you're doing this central pivot long, which is next week's central pivot, which is 53.746. And that produces a target now for you as a bull. You're actually going for $57.80. So if you're a bull, you're up, you're long. There's your 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now you're in your CPP swing, which gives you an R2 target, and you're up here. So you're buying at, we'll call it 54, and you're out, let's call it 58. And by the way, this is the analysis I did 2 days ago. So if you're just on the clue train now, holy smokes. Because someone else is 2 days ahead of you. In fact, a lot of Trader Way clients are probably 2 days ahead of you. How long do you hold positions? I've been in positions for 7 months. Aruba, Jamaica, Troy, I believe it has to do with lots of traders not understanding fundamental analysis. So they see a headline number and they do one thing, and then a bunch of other people actually read the report and see something else, and you get this sort of mud, this dirty water. And then those that just sort of trade kind of blindly and react to the market, they'll get cleaned up. Do you think China being closed will affect the currency markets? Well, yeah, I do. So I'll know today or tomorrow if I'm booking a trip. So I think I'll probably fly out there in 1 week, Friday or Saturday. But the 7th or the 8th maybe. So I'm going to fly out to Hong Kong. And I'm going to get together with a group of Forex traders, and we're going to smoke cigars and drink whiskey. Talk bad about Bitcoin people. The usual. Yeah, it's a full week that people take off. So, yeah, the markets, it'll be interesting anyways. Be interesting. Yeah, well, I guess you're on the FX Street website, so you're already in. So I was Speaker of the Year, when was it, 2016? So it'd be wonderful if I got nominated again. I think last year, David Pegler was nominated as Speaker of the Year. So check this out. David is one of the most fantastic human beings you'll ever meet. But I was running FX Bootcamp, and he sent me an email one day, and he's like, Wayne, I'm South African, but I'm serving in the U.S. military, and I've been discharged, and I'm just waiting for my discharge orders. I'm back in the United States, trying to teach myself Forex, but I've been away a long time serving in Iraq. I'm a little short of money. Can you help a guy out, who's someone who served the American people? Can you help him out and give him a discount to join your Forex group? I said, hell yes. A few years later, he's a coach for me. Fast forward 10 years from that, he's now considered one of the best Forex speakers in the entire world. He's my boy. That's my Davy. Oh, I'm so proud. David Pegler doesn't even know this, but I was telling my kids and my friends and telling everyone around me, I'm just like, I'm so happy. Yeah. So happy for him to be nominated for Speaker of the Year at FX Street. I was so happy and so proud. Cool. Amazing story. But he's also one of the hardest workers you'll ever meet. He's also one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And that's what it takes. You need to have, I don't know, I guess you don't have to have a positive mental attitude. A lot of people think you do. You don't. But it sure helps, because when you run into your hard times, and let me tell you, if you haven't run into a hard time as a trader yet, oh, it's going to happen, my friend. And when you're staring down in the abyss, wondering if you should jump off the ledge and end the pain, you need to talk yourself off the ledge, right? So having a positive mental attitude is probably a survival instinct, right? Humans are generally optimistic way beyond reality, but somehow it keeps us moving forward. But he's a very, very hard worker. He's very, very smart, right? And he's one of the nicest people you'll meet, and he'll survive. And he did survive, and he thrived. Now I think he's buying like vineyards and stuff. I should call him up. You owe me $200 from that discount I gave you. Yeah. Now he buys vineyards. Some people buy yellow Lamborghinis. Some people buy vineyards. I myself don't own a car. Why do I need a car? I don't go anywhere. I have Uber. So that could be you guys. The thing is, you probably don't work hard enough. Now, some of you may, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to get you upset, but not everyone can be above average. Do you know what I mean? So for you to be above average, you better do something that most people are unwilling or incapable of doing. If you don't go to the EIA and OPEC, or is it the IEA? I always mix them up. Go to the IEA and OPEC website, simply because I double dare you. Do it simply because I say, you know what? 95% of people are not going to do it just because it's too much work to go to these websites, spend 20 minutes on each one, find a report to download like the OPEC Outlook for oil, right? The IEA and EIA reports. So now you're talking like 1 hour of your life. That is far too much work for almost everybody. But if you're willing to make this huge sacrifice of 1 hour of your time simply because no one else is willing to do it, I think you're well on your way to becoming a huge success. It is EIA, right? Yeah. Just like 1 hour of your time will separate you from the 95% of people that are going to fail. And that puts you in the glimmer of hope. You might have the tenaciousness and the audacity to be successful. You have to have a ridiculous, sickening work ethic. Or you're average. What do you want? Yeah, they're messed up. Yeah, it's messed up. The problem is I'm trying to run too many 4K screens, so I'm going to build yet another computer. It's going to be my third one. And we're going to have to truly custom program the motherboard and all that, whatever. But it's hard to run. So I want to run 6 4K screens, and they just don't make computers that do that. So I'm going through some growing pains here, but whatever. It's true. Sort of like Tiger Woods came along and embarrassed everybody in the PGA. 10 years after he arrived, the average golfer was significantly better, probably close to as good as the number one trader before Tiger Woods, and that would have been Phil Mickelson, right? So that's the thing. I'm looking for 25 traders that have a ridiculous, sickening work ethic and are hardcore disciplined and are absolutely in love with foreign exchange trading. Love it. They want to talk about it all day. They want to do the work. They're like, hey man, did you read that EIA report? Oh man, that's like the opposite of what OPEC's saying. But if you look at the data, like, I don't know, and we have conversations. What should we do to make money? Yeah, I did the very first FX Street conference, Mark. That's the one where I'm in the panel discussion, and people kept asking, make a call, make a call, make a call. No one on the panel wanted to make a call, which makes sense. It was the financial crisis. It was recorded, so you can look it up. And I described how in a certain amount of weeks, like in 3 or 4 weeks, and I described why it had to do with contracts expiring. But I said around the certain date, the pound yen was either going to recover or drop 5,000 pips. And people got so excited, like, you should do a webinar on that day. And I'm like, look, I don't know if it's all going to be one day, but it'll be about that period. The pound might recover or it's going to drop 5,000 pips. And by the way, I was wrong. It dropped 7,000 pips. That was a fun event. I brought my little daughter with me to Spain. I brought my wife and my daughter. She was like 1. No, okay, so Greg, so I got that, and I'm on USB 3.0 for these, but when you run that many, it's not working. They conflict, and it has to do with the not the display. So it's display port to HDMI, but it has to do with display link, I think it's called, and it's just not quite working. Yeah, AMFX. That's why you got to hang with us every day, right? Yeah, okay, 2 is plausible, Greg, okay? 6 is not. They break down. And this is the problem. I can do 1 just fine. Okay, like this one here. I can't see this chat. Hang on, let me move it so I can see what you see so I can stick with you. Let me change it to here. All right, so this one, here's one screen. Okay, that's running just fine. And then these are all internal cards, so I got 6 1080s in this one. But then when you put these up, it starts to have a brain fart. It doesn't work. And I was talking to the guy. Oops, hang on, my carpet's in the way. I was talking to the guy that built it, and he's like, "Oh, well, you didn't tell me that." So he and I had a conversation about it, and he was doing research, and he's like, "Look, I think I can build that for you." But he's like, you can't have internal cards and external cards, and you got 6 1080p's and then you're trying to run 3 4Ks, but externally through USB. And he's like, it just breaks down. It just breaks down. And he's like, they're going to conflict, and sure enough, right? Okay. Then so he's going to try to build one so it's all basically internal, and there's no like external video cards conflicting with internal video cards. He's gonna build it so that the only video cards are running the 4Ks, but then he's got to change a bunch of things. So he's gonna build it for me. Yeah, anyways. Those are 43s, but I got them portrait. So my plan right now, I have a couple of plans, and so let me go back. So what I have now is 22, 22, 22, 43, 43, 43, 22, 22, 22. So now what I might do is 43, 43, 43, 43, and 43. That's what I'm thinking. Before that, I had 22, 22, 22, 75, 22, 22, 22. But the problem is I found this 4K screen over 75 inches. It was big enough, but the resolution wasn't to the degree I liked. So I donated this to charity about 3 weeks ago, and I moved to this setup. And it's good, but then, of course, I'm having errors. So now what I might do is this middle one, or I might do it this way. 43, oh wait, that's not going to fit. So I might do 43 traditional horizontal, right? 43, 43, 43, 43, 43, okay? And they're 4K each, right? So this will take up the same as my 18. So I used to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I used to have 18 22s at 1080. And this and this are the same size, but I have 4 times, right? So I go from basically, as far as pixels are concerned, 18 screens were this much space, and now it's like this much space. But the problem is they don't make computers that do that. Greg says you're going to have a refrigerator. Well, this room is custom made, so it's soundproofed. It's hardwired, like literally hardwired from the very beginning. Behind my screens, I have like 40 power plugs. So I have my own power box, right? So I have my whole switches. I have dedicated air conditioning. The whole room has been spray foamed with 2 levels of spray foam underneath the walls and the ceiling. So this whole room is custom made. But the thing is, when you get rid of the LCDs and you go to LEDs, you don't have the need for redundant air conditioning. I also have 2 sets of Wi-Fi. So I have Comcast coming in, and I have AT&T coming in. Okay. A Halo lens, yeah. My movie theater is based on laser. So I have a 150-inch 4K laser screen in the movie theater. But it's only one 4K, right? Versus this will have 6 4Ks or 5 4Ks. So it's like 20,000 K screen versus only 4K. So anyways, Greg, I won't need the cooler. Yeah, I won't need the dedicated air conditioning anymore. Yeah, and also Mark, if you look this way, I have a view of a lake. But my house is on a peninsula, so if I look that way, there's a lake. But if I'm upstairs and I look this way, there's lake. And then if I'm on the other side of the house, I still see lake. So it's comfortable. Oh, maybe. Greg's like, maybe. Hey, Greg, did you used to hang with me like at the trade show in Las Vegas, the Forex or the Traders Expo or whatever it was in Vegas? Did you ever hang out? Did you ever come to like a boot camp or jamboree type of stuff? I might have asked you this before. If not, there was another Greg Wilson. So anyways, I guess we're pretty much at the end, guys. If you want additional training and support, there's on-demand videos, dozens and dozens of hours. Okay, fxbootcamp.com. Don't tell anybody. Okay, don't tell anybody. But if you go to fxbootcamp.com/charts and you download my chart templates for free, it will also make you a one-time offer to save significant amount of money on buying the full package. Just saying, you can get 24 hours of how to day trade, how to scalp, how to spot trade, how to swing trade, how to set up your MT4, like just 24 hours, probably more like 36 hours of videos. There's a super one-time offer, wink, wink. fxbootcamp.com/charts. Other than that, if you want to work with me every day, absolutely for free, visit tradersway.com, open up a trading account. Even a demo is fine. Take you 30 seconds. And then you can, from there, there's a link in the back office to take you to my daily webinar. So you can work with me for free. And then, of course, every month for the 13 years, every month for 13 years, I've been working with FX Street. And so you can catch me at FX Street on a regular basis. So I do whatever I possibly can. I don't have a lot of time. That's why there's training videos and stuff like that. I don't have a lot of time. I'm a full-time grad student at Harvard. I got other things in my life going on for business. Got my trading, all that kind of stuff. So the best I can do is once a day for Traders Way and once a month for FX Street. Any other support, you're going to have to find it at fxbootcamp.com. But it's the real deal. Why don't you contact support, McStar FX? So anyways, I'd like to thank you for your time today. I'd like to thank FX Street for hosting us. I mean, think about it. Hosting us for 13 years is pretty amazing, right? Your last guru didn't have 13 years of trading experience. Put it that way. No, Mark, I don't. No, I don't. I used to do more. I used to do weekly and stuff, but I'm busy, man. I'm in grad school. I'm in a special elite program at Harvard, and they've had to cancel it, actually, not our group. But it was so hard, it was deemed impossible, and they canceled the program because it's too difficult. That's the program I'm in. I'm also an A student, so I really, really care. So I don't have a lot of time. I don't have time to do more. So I've made, like, put it this way, if you need to know how to swing trade, I put together probably 15 or 20 hours of videos teaching you how to swing trade properly. Okay, that's the best I can do to contribute to your success. You will have to visit fxbootcamp.com. You will have to input some money, and the output is you will have knowledge that will make you a better trader. I can't do more than that. Then all I can do is teach you, and the rest is up to you, right? I don't have time for anything else, so I'm not trying to upsell you and pay for my Lamborghini. I don't have a car, so this is my way to help. So anyways, I gotta go. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. And a big round of applause to our moderator sticking around for 3 hours. Hey, it's Friday night. Moderator's got to go. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you on Monday at tradersway.com. Cheers.